Hey everybody, Pat Monahan here from Patcast. This is one of my favorites. We did BottleRock earlier this year. And speaking of BottleRock, I'm home with my family currently, so there might be some trucks crashing in the background or some Disney songs. I don't know, but if that's what you hear, that's why. I'm not in the privacy of my hotel room watching Disney playing with trucks, just so that you get it. At BottleRock this year in Napa was one of my favorite festivals that we've ever done, I think, as Train. And before we played, the day that we played, I met these two sisters, Laura and Lydia Rogers, and they call themselves Secret Sisters. And they're going to be on our cruise this February, our Sail Across the Sun cruise. So when I met Laura and Lydia, I had no idea how talented they were. They're from Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And right behind them, as they walked in to do this podcast, my friend Brandy Carlisle was with them. So I find out through this podcast, as you'll see, that these guys are all very good friends, and you'll see why when you listen. But it all makes sense when you listen to all of these girls sing, that they're all incredibly talented. So I think that the song we decided to sing, of the many that they have, is called Black and Blue. And they are making a record. We're probably finishing up now with T-Bone Burnett, probably the greatest producer out there right now for this kind of thing, for sure. And this is it, guys, man. Watch out for these girls because they're incredibly talented, and you're about to find out. Secret Sisters on the Patcast.
What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking. What do you do? What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking, looking at you. You got to get it while the getting is good. Laugh when you can, cry when you should. You got to give it till the giving is gone. Do what you can, then you move on. What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking. What another try. I'm black and blue, worrying over you. Please don't say goodbye. Give me another try. I'm black and blue, worrying over you.
Right? Just been us a long time.
Why don't I just do the interview over the rest of the 4-hour song that we're going to turn this into?
It's been a long time.
That's amazing. Man, this is a really amazing opportunity for me because I'm here with the Secret Sisters, Lydia and Laura Rogers, and my friend Brandy Carlisle, who snuck behind these girls because they're best friends now.
What's up? Hi.
Would you like to say hello to everybody who will be listening?
Yes,
or are
thank
you
guys for listening.
Hello,
I'm so happy
friends.
to be here.
So we're going to put this podcast out, and I'd love for you guys to be one of the first things I put out because when I listened to your first record, because your second one's not out yet,
Right,
I was like, this is kind of incredible. These girls are so amazing at what they're doing. And then I was like, they kind of remind me of Brandy Carlisle a little bit, which is a great compliment because I think Brandy is one in a jigillion. And so then I find out through Wikipedia, which is always 100% accurate, that you guys actually did an audition with a Brandy song. Can you talk about that for a second so you get people to know how that started for you?
The two of us were diehard Brandy Carlisle fans. Before we were even performing professionally, we were huge fans. And there was this audition, the audition that became infamous that kind of led to our record deal. I went first to audition on my own. And the song that I sang for everybody for the first time was Same Old You, which is a wonderful Brandy Carlisle traditional country kind of.
It's okay.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's kind of silly, actually.
She meant it silly, but I meant it like way serious. Like this is the deal,
Of
you
course.
know. And so that was actually the first song that anybody outside of my family ever heard me sing because I had really bad stage fright, believe it or not.
Really?
And, yeah. And then Lydia came a couple hours later and auditioned on her own.
And
And
we actually tried out separately, not even together.
we didn't
do it together.
Nope.
But then how did it become the Secret Sisters then?
Well,
together?
we were walking out of the room of the audition, and they asked if we sang together.
They knew you were sisters,
Yeah.
obviously. Okay.
Yeah, so we were like, well, we can because we've done it all our lives. So we came back up and sang a few songs, and the rest is history.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you ever, Brandy, did you ever work with T-Bone?
Yeah, I made the story with T-Bone Burnett. That kind of our first
That's what I thought.
real record. Yeah, it was
And
cool.
so your connection with T-Bone, T-Bone Burnett has a incredible reputation for being a great golfer, making records while he's on the golf course. But is that true? I mean, you guys would know better than I would.
He's quite good at making records, actually. I mean, I have to say, a lot of the records that he's made have been my very favorite records.
Mine
and
too.
That was actually the story is the record that really like got me like, oh, Brandy, you know, like crazy fan. Like we literally have pictures of us like clutching Brandy for dear life outside her tour bus
Before
after
we even
a show.
started this whole
Before we were friends.
Yeah.
So to be able to hang out with her and be friends, and of course T-Bone, we've got that kind of common thread, I guess. And
You know, there's a guy in Nashville named John Grady. He's one of the greatest people that you'll ever meet, and you guys would get along really, really wonderfully with him. He's been in the music business, the country music business, mostly forever.
Wow.
Worked under Donnie Einer, who Brandy knows pretty well, and it was just, you know, he's been doing this forever, and he is best friends with T-Bone Burnett, and they were telling a story about T-Bone being at a dinner party years ago, saying, I'm making a bluegrass record. I think it's going to be the #1 record in the world. And they were all like, yeah, T-Bone Burnett is virtually insane, you know. And it was Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah.
And so that guy kind of
Proved
knows what he's
everybody wrong.
doing. I don't care where he's making records from, space, the golf course, it seems to work.
Yeah.
Did you have a good experience with him, Brandy, or do you not want to talk shit about people right now?
You know, all experiences are kind of a combination of all that stuff, but I had like a really good experience with him. I mean, he did have a putting green in the studio, as you mentioned. When we were making a record. My favorite, like, I have a T-Bone Burnett story where I got a rat stuck in my car when I was making the record. with T-Bone.
Gross.
And it was stuck in there, and I was terrified to drive it even from the hotel to the studio. It was like just scratching around in there. And T-Bone was really into like overtones and subliminal noises at the time, and so he gets like 15 extension, chords together, and he brings this speaker down into my car, and he puts it into my car, which is like several stories away, and he goes, "The idea I have is I'm going to play a frequency for this rat that's so low that he will either die or run screaming from your car." So we didn't get any work done for the rest of the afternoon. Like T-Bone tried to scare the rat out of my car with
What
frequencies.
happened to the rat?
It never went out of there, ever. I think I lost it on the freeway somewhere.
The idea here is to play a frequency so low that we don't have to work today.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
And so, but your new record, speaking to Lydia and Laura, you guys made this new record in Los Angeles.
we did.
But your first record you made at one of my dear friends' places. It's called Blackbird
Yes,
Studios in
for
Nashville,
sure,
and a guy named John McBride is the
Wonderful
owner of that
John.
with his wife, Martina, did you get to meet those guys,
Yes, we
hang
did.
out with either
They're
one of them at all?
Wonderful.
Those guys, man, they are the greatest part of the music business to me.
Yeah.
What did you guys find out about them? Anything fun?
Just that they were really genuine. I mean, obviously, Martina's voice. Everybody knows that voice. It's so amazing. But just as people, I mean,
Yeah.
John was especially great because he did a lot of the engineering on our sessions when we did the first record. And he was just so likable and
Yeah.
genuine and down to earth. And
Yeah, he's just like that. And it makes
he's
you just
got
want to stay that
connections
way,
to-
right?
It
Because
does.
you are as well.
It's
I mean, you're from
important.
Alabama.
Yeah.
What part?
Muscle
Florence.
Shoals.
Never heard of
Florence
it.
Area.
Never been there. Heard of some people named Muscle Shoals. I don't know anything about that place. You ever been there?
Yeah.
I don't know that place.
It's tiny. I mean, it's
Is it
not
really
a very
small?
big town, but it's
How
cool.
close to Birmingham is it?
2 hours.
Birmingham was the beginning of everything for Train. That's where it all started. Yep. It was
Did
a.
not know
It was a
that.
strange. What's that?
You guys knew Scott Register.
That's right. Scott Register had us into Regis Coffee House on a Sunday at when it was called 99X, but it was different than the Atlanta one, and so they had us in, and he was just a Sunday guy, and we were supposed to go to New Orleans, but there was a terrible hurricane that was coming to New Orleans, so we couldn't go. So we spent the day in Birmingham. They didn't want to play our music, but Scott liked us, so Scott had us in anyway, and he couldn't get the gear to work, so we called the guy who the music director in, hey, can you help me with this? And then we played, Ramble On and played our record and stuff, and this guy was like, these guys might be for real, so he added the record. And that was kind of the first guy that added the
That's
record because
amazing.
Scott had us in, and there was a hurricane. I never thought I'd be grateful to a hurricane, but, hey, what can you do?
Yeah.
It works out.
Yeah.
That's
and so
amazing.
in Alabama, you were coming up, were you trying to make it in music in the beginning,
Not
or
at all.
what were you doing?
I
What were
was
you
in
inspired by?
I was in school for graphic design at the time. I'd always wanted to be a singer, but I didn't think it could work out.
I'm so glad you're not a graphic designer. I'm so
way
glad
too
you're
many
doing what you're
of
doing.
And Laura was actually a nanny in Nashville. She had just graduated from college for music business.
Yeah,
Really?
I had bad stage fright, so I thought, well, the next best thing to being a performer is just being like a manager. Which now that I know what a manager does, I would rather die. I would literally rather ride on the back of a garbage
Yeah,
truck.
I got to tell you though, most managers don't do much.
Well-
So I think you might have chose the wrong gig.
Maybe I don't know. I like it a lot better being on stage, believe it or not. So
Well,
it worked out.
Yeah, I think that's the right place for you. So you're here in Napa Valley. We're all here at the first time BottleRock is happening. What's your experience so far? When did you get here? Where are you staying?
Oh,
What are you
man.
doing?
We got here Thursday night, and we're staying at a Best Western
Great.
down the road.
That's perfect.
Yeah, and it's just been a great experience.
How much
We've
wine
seen a
have you
lot.
had so far?
Not that much.
Not
actually.
much.
Have you?
Well, I caught him drinking whiskey before I was dead.
That was for
Yeah,
vocals.
they don't need. We don't. Oh no, we don't like wine. We just like marijuana and whiskey.
There's a lot of marijuana here.
Man, but you know what?
Everywhere I
There
walk.
should be, because this is where the best weed in the world is grown, in Northern
Apparently,
California.
we don't know much about
Yeah,
weed.
that's right. Everybody talks about the wine country. Man, as soon as weed is legal, it's over. This place is
Goodness.
going to turn into weed country.
Yeah.
And it should, because
That's
it's
amazing.
great pot, and everybody around is smoking it. Even the kids are like, my dad's got the best herb in town. But anyway, so you guys, who have you gone to see so far? Who have you watched?
man,
Who's
let's see.
inspiring you musically? Where are you at?
Well, we saw the Alabama Shakes the other day. They
That
were
was
great.
fun.
Great, yeah,
Really
I
great.
like
we
that
saw
girl.
Kings of Leon last night. We've
Yep.
been fans of them for a long time.
I kind of got fangirly. I almost got in a fight last night. I'll tell you
Excellent.
that.
Man,
First
I would
fight
have
I've
loved to
ever been in.
YouTube that. That
I
would have
wish
been
I had a
great.
YouTube of it because I felt like a really strong girl.
The only
Yeah.
thing surprising about that is that it was the first fight you've ever gotten.
Brandy knows.
Not counting our fights.
Yeah, of
as
course,
sisters.
of course. Kings of Leon were good. We got to see a little. We were about to go on tour with Iron and Wine like
Oh, you
tomorrow.
are?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so we
great.
got to go watch his set and who
Black
else?
Keys.
Black Keys.
Oh, cool. You got
Carolina
to see a lot of
Chocolate
good
Drops.
stuff.
Yeah.
What's
and
the
of
one
course-
thing you're going to leave talking about so far?
Probably the fact that I swallowed a bug mid-song at the end of our set.
Oh my God.
A bug. I was like,
That's
stopped in a
terrible.
song.
bug went right in. Has that happened to you before?
It happened to me
Oh.
running a few times, and that's terrible because it ends up in your lungs, and they say you can get sick from it because if it lives down there and you can't get it out, it'll start to. Anyway, that's a weird
No,
experience.
this one didn't go down the trachea. It went down the esophagus. So I just ate it.
Oh, good. And how did you feel afterwards? Were you full?
I was just glad.
What kind of
to-
size bug are we talking about?
It was just a little tiny gnat, but it was
All right.
enough to make me like flinch. Really.
You did good, though.
Yeah, we
That's
went right
funny.
back into
That's
it.
funny.
So you're the Iron and Wine.
Yes.
Super great band. My tour manager Sam used to tour manage those guys.
Ah.
They do 3 weeks on, and then they take time off. Is that still the way
I'm
of doing
not
business?
sure.
I don't know. We're just going to be out with them for a week and a half.
Oh,
so,
cool. That's
yeah.
great. And then what
gigs.
happens after that?
We have a
did a
little
tour
bit
with she
of,
and him.
Yeah, a little bit
Wow,
of time
great.
off and then tour with she
Oh,
and him.
that's
and
cool.
Then
You're getting in with all the cool groups.
it's
That's
been
great.
fun.
Fun.
It's been
Yeah.
fun. People
And
are
before
so
that, you
nice.
were out with Brandy. Was this last year that you guys did
This
the tour
was
together?
about a year ago in December, I
Yeah, I
guess.
did a solo tour with them, and it turned into a trio tour. Like we were pretty much on stage with each other the whole time. It was really, really cool. I'm obsessed with these guys. Like I lose control of my limbs when they sing, and I just get so just into what they're doing.
Yeah, that's fun.
I think that they're kind of one of a kind, really special.
Yeah, I do too. I really do. I
That's
think
the
you are too.
sweetest.
And especially you probably lose control of your limbs because when they're singing your songs, you're thinking all the publishing money that's probably coming your way. And you're like, oh my God, I'm going to the bank. I'm going to the bank, everybody.
I hate to disappoint you, but there's not that much of that right
You know-
I'm
now.
not sure it works that way on our level, Pat.
You know, it doesn't work that way on any of our level. But what's great about all of us, I think, is it takes time. It takes time for people to care about something.
Sure.
And if they care about you right away, they'll lose interest right away.
That's so true.
I mean, when I met Brandy, she was a very young girl for the first time doing big shows, and they weren't even like that big of shows, but they were still good size. And then when I saw Brandy after that, she was doing way bigger shows than when she was out with us. And it just takes time to like get enough people to care about you because it takes people caring for you to have a career.
For sure.
Because you can have people go like, oh my God, that guy's so sweet looking, he's awesome. And then one record over, and then it's like, then people care less. And then you
Yeah.
grow up, and then the little girls don't care anymore. They want to listen to John Mayer.
True.
So it's better that you're doing this, and you're earning it the hard way. I think we all did that, and we're glad. I mean, you're glad that you did, right, Brandy? That you earned it the hard way, and now you get to like have a real serious fan base.
Yeah, and it's great because it's still like that in some places. Some places you get a taste of what it must be like to have really made it, and then in some places you're still kind of like slinging cover tunes at a club, and it's there's constant awakening happening. At all different levels. Or if you get real good in one region of the United States and you go over to the UK and you're back in bars again, it's just a constant reminder that, it's a continuum. And there is no there. You don't make it there.
Yeah.
You just
Journey.
live like this.
And then you have to remember that you didn't do this for the dough.
Exactly.
You're in it
If you do
because
it,
So
like
true.
If you
somebody
do it for that.
somebody said it to me a long time ago. If you want to get rich, you are in the wrong business, Jack.
Absolutely.
And it's true.
It's
It's
very
like,
true.
well, we are doing a boat cruise. You do a boat cruise already, right, Brandy? You
Yeah.
singer-songwriter boat
Yeah,
cruise.
yeah.
We're starting one this year. I'd like to invite all of you out to it. Brandy, you're probably busy on your own damn boat, making all kinds of crazy boat stuff. But you get to go out with like John Prine, who's like my favorite singer-songwriter of all time. So anyway, if you guys want to come, I'd love to have you as my guests. Can sing, and it's going to be in February. It hasn't been announced yet. It's going to be over Valentine's Day.
Really?
Nice.
So
Look it
we
up.
make a whole bunch of wine, and we'd love to we're just going to invite as many of our friends as we can.
Oh,
Like we're
fun.
friends with a lot of musicians at this point, people that we know we love. Like Matt Nathanson, hopefully will come out,
man,
and
he's great.
he's become a good friend, and
Nice.
it's just being on a boat, I've only done that once. I think you've done that several times, right?
Yeah, this will be my 6th or 7th time on this boat with John Prine and Emmylou Harris, Patty Griffin.
Right, that's
it's
pretty good
really
company.
fun, like singer-songwriter cruise and stuff. I was going to try and get you guys to go actually this year.
Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's
We love
it's a
boats.
really cool experience when you're out and you get to be close to your fans, and for the most part, the fans of music like all of ours, yours is much cooler than mine, but your fans are very kind to you. Like
Yeah.
they don't want to rip stuff off of you or get weird
No,
on you. They
no,
just want
right.
to talk to you and
Yeah.
relate to you because you're singing things that mean something to them, that make them feel, better about the life, which is really a cool gift that you've been given. So what's next for you guys after the Iron and Wine thing? Are you going to take over the world? Are you going to do
That's the plan.
arenas in Japan like most heavy metal acts? What's up?
Well, hopefully we'll release our second record this summer.
Yeah, when is that coming out? Because I like to
No
get that.
set release date yet, but we're looking at early July.
And is the first single off of it, or the song that you will try to work as the single, going to be the song we just performed?
Potentially. We don't know for sure yet. We're still tying up all those, crazy record loose ends.
Who's your manager? Because it seems like you maybe don't know what the hell's going on around here. Well, first we're going to make a record, but I don't know if we're really going to make a record. And then we're going to have some songs, but I don't know if they're going to be any good.
The record is
It's
done,
done.
for
It's
sure.
officially
Okay,
done.
the record's done.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait to
Released
get
this
it.
summer.
You don't have a name for it.
Nope.
Nope.
We're still kind of thinking about that.
This song is called Black and Blue.
Mhm.
It's so good. I love it.
Thank you.
I can tell you you folks, something about it that's kind of surprising, which is that, you hear these guys sing in this sweet duo style that they've been doing Everly Brothers covers and Patsy Cline songs for the last couple of years. They've been on the road with Willie Nelson. They've been on the road with all the greats, Paul Simon. And you think they were going in one direction, and I've heard 4 tracks off this record, and it's really heavy. It's rock and roll, swamp rock and roll.
Oh, that's cool.
To the umpteenth degree.
So you're getting
It's pretty
kind of
amazing.
into your Alabama roots then.
A little
because
bit,
that's
yeah.
what you would expect from Alabama is like
Yeah, Muscle Shoals sound.
some thick stuff.
We just wanted to change it up. Like, we are very country at our core. Classic
Sure.
country is important to us, but we also love early rockabilly roots rock. Like, that's important too.
Sure.
And so with the first record, it was super duper like, there's no question that's a country record. But with this next record, it's a little bit like there are a few country-ish things, but mostly it's some
Well, it's
really
dark. I
yeah.
mean, country can be dark. It can be more punk rock than punk rock
Yeah.
ever wanted to be, because they were singing about the pill and divorce and murder ballads before that was acceptable in almost any other medium. So I think you guys really have that going on this
Thank
record.
you.
We're
The
trying
murder
to
ballads
do
are
that.
just
Yeah.
knocking me over.
A lot of sad energy.
You get a lot of murder ballads going on.
We have
We
one
went
murder ballad.
really dark one.
Sociopathic guy.
They are those kind of songs are heavy duty.
They are,
And
for
they make a huge impression on musicians.
Right.
Like you're kind of a musician's act, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Which
We've
I
had
think
other
is
people
great.
say that. That's
I think
amazing.
that's great. That's why Paul Simon and these great artists are having you perform with them, because they're fans of what you're doing, because all of us want to do something magical. And when you see that magic in somebody else, you just want to be around it.
Absolutely.
Because first of all, you're a fan of it, but then secondly, you want it to rub off. Like,
for
I want to be
sure.
around you guys just so that by the time we're not together anymore, I can go like, well, those guys did it this way. Like, I learn a lot from
It's the
Brandy.
best way to learn.
I learn a lot from a lot of young acts. And what I love about music today as opposed to when I started was that it's easier to be fans of each other. Because when I started, you had to get a record on a shelf. And then there was only a certain amount of shelf space, so you ended up wanting to write murder ballads about those other bands because you wanted them to disappear, because it was like me or you, dog.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and now it's like me and you. And I love that. Do you feel like that too, being on the road? And are you feeling that out there, that
Oh,
it's
for
like
sure.
everybody's fans of each other?
Yeah, we all try to support each other. We're
I
all
think
in
it feels
together.
like a family. Like, when Brandy and her crew walked up today, I literally started crying because I was so happy to see, like, they're so important to us. And, the people that we've toured with, they become so special to you because they believe in you, even when nobody else really gets it, it seems like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pat, it's like
It's a family.
I sang at your wedding,
Yep.
and these guys, they sang at my wedding.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it becomes so much. I think even more than just good friends, but like rooting for each other. So anytime
Yeah,
something good
that's
happens
right.
for other people, you're like, yes, those are
You
our
wanna
people,
spread it.
like
And
well
isn't that
deserved.
the kind of person you'd rather be anyway?
Oh, it's
I
so
mean, when
much
you're
fun.
rooting against somebody, doesn't it feel like dirty? And or have you never
It's
even
so
done
exhausting.
Well, we have not really experienced that because we got to
Learn,
come in
I
at
could
a good
teach you some
time.
tricks about that. You want people to be gone.
Yeah.
We do all kinds of weird shows too. Like we'll be out with Iron and Wine doing a festival, and then we'll be with Flow Rider the next day. And even the Flow Rider crew, super sweet guys. You know,
Yeah.
like we were watching on the side of the stage, and one of his guys comes up. He's like, "Man, thank you so much for watching Flow Rider, man. This is cool." And I'm like, "That's awesome that everybody's cool with each other." You know, it's a
Yeah.
different world. I think it's a better world of music.
better.
I think the right people are making, the right choices now, where music was like the executives were flying around in helicopters, and all of us were wondering if we were going to be able to pay rent. And now it's kind of evening itself out. So music lovers are getting what they want, and musicians are having to earn their keep. And I think that, there's something respectable about that. Like, hey man, if you got to work on a carburetor, you got to earn your keep. Why is music any different?
Yeah.
Just because you got the gift to be able to do that, and you
work
get
hard.
this like unrelatable adulation at times, you need to walk off stage and remember you're just helping people fix their cars, really.
Right.
You're trying to help people get to work better.
But it feels
and-
so good. Like, it really is, like you were talking about a minute ago. Like, if you're in it for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reason. And that's true. But, like, I really just, like, the feeling that I get when people come up and say, your music reminded me of what my grandfather used to play when I was a kid. And he's not with me anymore, but I remembered him because of you. Like, when people say that to you, it's like, no amount of money you could ever give me would make me feel as good as that compliment made
Right.
me feel. You know,
and it
like,
takes a
that's-
special person to understand that, because
it's so
there
magical.
are ball players out there that little kids want an autograph, and they're like, "Fuck that, I'm busy."
Yeah.
And it's a shitty way to be, but you go like, I feel worse for the ball player than the kid.
Yeah,
Like, because
for
that guy's
sure.
got to go home. That same asshole that just did that to the kid, he's got to live in that asshole's shoes all day, every day. Where the little kid gets to go, "Wow, I don't want to be like that."
Right.
Yeah.
Which
true.
is like,
That's a good point.
yeah. And so anyway, I love your attitude. I love your music.
Aw.
I love that you're friends with Brandy, which makes me a bigger fan. And so thank you so much for doing this podcast.
You're so
goodness.
welcome.
I hope that
Thank
the rest of the
you.
day you get to go toke on some of that fine herb that you were talking about. And,
Mom, we're not
and
doing
that whiskey. Mom, the girls are probably going to get baked tonight.
She knows better. I have terrible nausea problems.
Don't worry, Mom. I'm looking out for him. I'll keep him away from Pat.
So thanks, Brandy Carlisle, and thanks, and Brandy. I'd love to do a podcast with you in Seattle when you have the time. But
Yeah,
for today, thanks for joining us to interview my new favorite thing happening right now, which is the Secret Sisters, and I can't wait to see you guys do it again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Peace out, bitches.
Peace out.
I wasn't talking to the listeners. I was actually talking to you guys.
Oh, God.
I'm just kidding.
no.
There you have it. Laura and Lydia Rogers, the Secret Sisters. You can check them out on Sail Across the Sun on our cruise this February. And you can get to hear them play Black and Blue as you just heard them. You can hear them do that live on that ship. And check out their new album. It's out now. It sounds incredible. Secret Sisters. See you next time on the Patcast.